Welcome back to the grand finals of the MLG Summer Invite Online European Qualifiers. JP and Apollo here with Game 6 between Nerchio and SortOf as we head into Metropolis.
SortOf has been one map away for the last game, and now still again just has to win one game. And as easy as that sounds, it's not quite that easy. You can take a risk, you can 6-pull, you can try an aggressive play like last time, but on a map like Metropolis, you actually are forced to play a longer game because it's very easy. It's a big map. It's very long distance between both of these guys. So I think we will see a more longer style of game than previous.
All right, real quick, go ahead and give some player shoutouts over here. At the 9 o'clock position on Metropolis is Acer's very own Nerchio as the red Zerg. And up at the 12 o'clock position will be the blue Zerg, SortOf. Is INFS his team? Do you have any idea what that stands for?
Inferno Esports.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go, guys. I apologize for not giving you shout-outs this entire time. I was simply ignorant.
Ignorant. No, don't say that.
Well, it has a negative
Oh, wait.
What?
It's Team Infused. It was Inferno. They're basically the same letters, like it's INF, but like the I and the F is capitalized in Inferno Esports, and in Team Infused it's INFS, and he was a part of both of the teams, so sorry, it's Team Infused.
All right, well, regardless, he is making a huge name for both himself and his team here in the grand finals of this tournament. And like you said, he's been on game point for some time against a Zerg, which both in Europe and just worldwide is known to be one of the best in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, he's showing it, even though they both know where they spawned really early on because of the overlords that are going in the right direction, by the way, JP, is that Nerchio still went for spawn and pull extractor, showing that, again, he wants to go back to Daybreak, back to how he controlled the game, you know, making his opponent build units, making his opponent be scared of an aggression in case of a bailing all-in or something along those lines. And this is a style that I use all the time because I copied it from Nerchio, and it is absolutely fantastic. It really is. I'm controlling the game, you're building this, and I'm doing this. And I love that kind of dominance in this kind of matchup.
Do want to mention the fact this is MLG Metropolis, so there is no island expansion over at the 10 or the 5 o'clock positions. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, it is a very, to be honest, it's an exact replica and everything else. So yeah. Here we have the drones going into the extractor for SortOf, just now getting his gas, and also throwing down a spine crawler as well, feeling a little bit threatened with what he saw with his overlord over in Nerchio's main.
See, that's already what Nerchio wants to see, but with and especially because that's 6 lings and a spine crawler, that's almost nullified the advantage of going hatch first already. I mean, if he picks up a drone kill, if he does anything else with these lings, Nerchio's in the lead, and that's how good it is. And look at that 4 versus 4 micro, and he actually goes up with 1 ling more than his opponent. So Nerchio in a great position, and especially because speed is 60 seconds away from completing, he has that option again where he can go ahead and build 10 extra lings and start to scout his opponent, start to pressure his opponent, force more lings, force more spine crawls or something. But so far, so good for Nerchio, I feel.
Yep, and he's even got his hat-trick coming down. The queen already in position, dropping, of course, the first, a couple energy on that hat-trick. And we've got Nerchio working on the destructible debris of his opponent, which really can open up some interesting attack lanes, which we might see later on. I think this queen should definitely see the, yeah, there he goes over, and now he's going to start picking away with that additional range. Gets one of the lings, and it will stop them, of course, from attacking that destructible debris. Meanwhile, though, we've got Baneling Nest going down for both players. Nerchio's a little bit ahead.
Yeah, he is, and his speed is now finished too, and he's building those extra set of links where he can decide, does he see weakness, does he try to do something. I don't think he'll overcommit because there's a spine down, the queen range is larger now, and also his opponent's Baneling Nest should be down soon. So 12 additional links being made by Nerchio, and he'll probably go back to droning after it. He'll just try to scout his opponent, try to look for some form of Baneling to detonate. I mean, not Baneling, sorry, to detonate, just kind of drone to kill, sorry. But look, no, actually, 80 more lings in the production tab. He may actually try something.
And he's morphing in 4 lings right outside the natural of his opponent, which he cannot see. There is no overlord placed which Apollo, that might be a little bit of a bad thing. Maybe you can learn a thing or two from watching your tutorials.
Yeah, man, maybe. But right now, let's see if he can get in there. One Baneling goes down, the second one goes down, but two. Oh my god, nail-biting movement here, and Nerchio is going to get pushed back, but the reinforcements are streaming across.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you think he didn't anticipate the Banelings being at the top of the ramp?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he just tried to get in there, took an opportunity that he thought that could have gone down well. It just didn't work, and now he could have been further ahead than he is in terms of the drone count. His opponent's reaction was perfect. Additional Spions, Banelings, but right now the drone lead is in favor of Nerchio. If you look at it, it's like 40 to 35, so it's looking pretty good, even though that didn't work out so well.
I like what SortOf just did, going up to Lair as soon as he saw that attack. We've also got a Lair coming in for Nerchio. He's being very active with his lings on the outskirts of the creep of his opponent, but now it looks like SortOf is going to send some Banelings to kind of deal with those. Overlord placement now getting a little bit better for SortOf, as you can see most of the attack paths leading into his natural.
And let's find out how these guys are going to tech up. But first of all, before that happens, it looks like SortOf is going to put a bit of pressure on his opponent. Not too heavily. He only has a few units here. But that will require a response from Nerchio, which is morphing his own Banelings. And both of them are still droning. They're just accepting the attack from each other right now. So we won't see anything huge here.
And here come the Banelings of SortOf, not doing a whole lot. They will not be able to connect whatsoever. That queen range, you mentioned it, just how much it's really changing this matchup, but it really, really needs to be re-mentioned because the Banelings have such a hard time now connecting with the queens there at the natural that, I mean, I think this is kind of the beginning of this matchup changing almost.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's been evolved so much recently, because people are better at defending. But look at this. I love this style of matchup. It's actually Spire versus Spire here. And both of them have to scout. I mean, we already have an Overseer being made by SortOf. Nerchio doesn't quite know what his opponent's doing. He can guess it's a 2-base tech timing just because of the timing of his expansion, or SortOf's expansion. And Nerchio is going to try and deny it like we saw previously in this series. But I don't know if 3 Banelings is enough here.
Yeah, that is a pretty big surface area, one being used on the kind of southern side of that. Looks like he will be able to clean it up as some more. No, only 2 Banelings are kind of just waddling along across the map. Not sure what he's looking to do with these, but he's going to force him to go on creep. The Spine Crawlers should make quick work of that.
And if SortOf actually keeps his 3rd base, he is in an amazing position because he can take the gases there and just have a high Metropolis count because of it. And we do have Nerchio streaming across with a handful of lings, almost 20 lings there, and he may try to deny this base, but oh, this is going to be so tense. Both of these guys go Inspire. Both of them should go Carapace. Is the actual better upgrade here, Muta versus Muta, because you want to deny the bounce of the Mulas that do the splash damage. Therefore, Mutas survive longer. They do more damage, theoretically. And that's what he's aiming for with that +1 Carapace. But nobody's going to get the 3rd base at the moment. It looks like SortOf's the one taking the aggressive stance to try and deny that.
Yeah, this map, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier today in this cast or another one, but it's quickly becoming my favorite map just because of the type of games that it really breeds. The 2 different attack paths in the center of the map, as well as the close by air spawns, can really, really create some very interesting dynamics in the matchups that we really haven't seen before in the game so far.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and this is actually probably one of the leading maps that has changed Zerg versus Zerg as well, just because of the distance. You know, putting that in the bowl as well as it being easier to defend Zerg versus Zerg, it's definitely changed. But we do not see an upgrade from Nerchio. He's a little bit supply booked. He has a lot of money in the bank. But is he going to try and get a deny on this 3rd base? That's what he's aiming for, I think, right now, because he hasn't upgraded. He's actually opted for more Mutalists rather than the upgrade. So in long term, it suffers, but in short term, he has a better unit count. But his opponent in the defensive stance with defensive advantage, because he has the hatcheries closer to his units, is probably going to keep the 3rd base no problem.
Yeah, and right now, Muta count is 16 to 15. The upgrade advantage soon to be in favor of SortOf with that armor upgrade. And now it looks like SortOf is going to go someone on the aggressive. He might just be trying to clean out these Naga towers in the center of the map, as that's what Nerchio was just doing. But we might have a clash of armies here in just a matter of moments.
Yeah, we may do, but I don't think Nerchio is equipped to take this fight now. +1 carapace is about to finish, and it now is finished. +1 attack on the way too. Nerchio has to be so careful. If he takes a fight, he will lose that fight. Even though he's got a higher muta count just by a little bit as these new ones pop out, it doesn't matter with his +1 carapace.
Nerchio also taking a 4th base at this point. If that goes unnoticed, he will definitely surge ahead where he's been behind most of this game economically. A lot of queens being thrown into the army here, but now the mutas of SortOf are going straight into the main mineral line, getting a couple shots. But here comes a huge swell of units for Nerchio, chasing down these mutas of his opponent.
And there's Lings on the 3rd base as well from SortOf, who actually brings down a queen and is now going to work on the 2nd queen. And if he brings down the 2nd queen as well, that's a great little maneuver, considering he's taken 0 damage so far in this game. And look at that, it does get cleaned up by Nerchio, but how many drones were killed? 4 drones, but 2 queens, more importantly, slowing down the lava injects. And with +1 attack on the way as well for these mutas, SortOf's in great position.
Yeah, he just picked off 2 mutas there. Ling's right below, but here we have a big engagement. The upgrade, of course, going to SortOf, but there's queens on the low ground. They are being focused down by the Ling. Some transfusions coming at the last second. Muta count is 23 to 17, and supply is 140 to 118. Nerchio is slowly falling behind, but he's got a 4th base up and running, and if it's up long enough, that may keep him in the game.
Absolutely, and there's Lings running to it, I think. The Banelings there waiting.
Oh!
The Lings die, but the Muta's in the main base now. Nerchio is going to lose this fight unless Queens get there in time. They do come in with some clutch transfuges here, and it looks like Nerchio with the Queens will push this back just about. But more importantly, as you said, that 4th base is up. If he can establish and stabilize on 4 bases, he can easily tech switch over to Infestors, which is the key of defending everything here.
And once again, another Muta war. Of course, 18-12, but you got to always remember these queens. They do have transfusions readily available for this match. It looks like he's going to wait for some more Lings to come cross-map. It is also, I know it's 4 hatches. Does a macro hatch exist for Nerchio? No, it does not look like it does. So they are equal in terms of the number of hatcheries. Lings being caught off guard here from SortOf, as we're going to see mutas now dart once again right back into the main. They're going to be able to kill so many of those drones as they fall back after earning a couple of kills.
Yeah, this is really good so far, but look at Nerchio sending out a counterattack here. He's looking for the 4th base, probably hoping his opponent doesn't have it, and he sees there's no expansion there and is probably happy about that, considering he has his own, but he is going to be confronted now by these Ling and a single secondary. More mutas on the way now too, and Nerchio does get chased back, but right now that Nerchio has some room to breathe. His opponent's on the other side of the map. He's getting +2 carapace, and that actually tells us that he's happy to continue a muta fight because he has a higher gas income rather than switching over into Infestors of his own here. So that's very interesting to see that Nerchio's willing to take this, and with Queen backup, he's actually in a good position to defend against anything despite his upgrades not being in his favor.
And this is slowly turning into an insane GVZ here between these two players in Game 6. We're seeing the mutas now flying to the 3rd base. They were trying to focus down the extractor, but now they're fighting the rest of these mutas 24 to 13. But once again, the queen advantage always goes to Nerchio. And here we go again. Look at the transfusions flying onto those mutas, and it looks like Nerchio is slowly edging out a victory here against these mutas.
Yeah, and now SortOf finds that 4th base properly. 100% confirmation is there. Picks off a queen. Will take the remaining muta war, but will lose because of the lack of mutas in the fight. And Nerchio has gone from 0 to hero in a matter of minutes here. But we do have the pathogen glands upgrade being researched for his opponent, SortOf, who is teching over. There is a big swell of units now making its way to the 4th base. If he snipes it with these Lings and mutas, that could be actually game-changing.
Some Banelings collide with the Lings there as they try to get into the 3rd base. Now they're just cleaning up drones, have not decided to focus down that hatchery just in. It looks like that was a smart decision, but at the same time, Lings of Nerchio's are going over into the 4th and the 3rd base, and the Lings have not responded just yet from SortOf. The attack gets cleaned up over here for Nerchio. Will SortOf have as much luck?
Well, it doesn't look like it, to be honest. It seems like, well, actually, no, SortOf has 3 Lings remaining on Nerchio's 4th base. I don't know how that's possible, but he's actually taking out quite a few drones now in this game. Nerchio, at the same time, crazy game with Lings of his own on SortOf's 3rd base. Does get cleaned up eventually, but now we actually have a Hive on the way. And I wonder what he's going to do with the Hive, to be honest, because right now he's facing only Mutalisk. The Hive doesn't really give you anything. It will help increase the upgrade count for the Mutalisk, but I don't think that's important at the moment.
Yeah, this is a huge amount of mutas here. 26 for Nerchio compared to the 1 muta and 6 infestors of SortOf, but they are right next to this. Ooh, and look at Nerchio actually spreading them out before engaging. He saw those infestors with the lings. Some more lings over here of SortOf are going to be lost right outside the 3rd base. And with this spread, SortOf cannot engage that, and he knows it. So this 4th base is lost.
Yeah, this 4th base is down, and Nerchio has just turned this game around, which is amazing to see. Playing from behind, coming back to the lead now. Is he going to be able to sustain this lead, though? With Mutas going down there, if he gets trapped by these fungals, there's too many fungals here, and look at the spread! He's accepting the fungals with arms wide open, and now the infested Terrans come down, but Nerchio is doing so much cost-efficient damage.
Yeah, that spread is actually insane from Nerchio. I've never seen a Zerg do it that well, and he is still continuing on here, clumping up just a little bit, but those infestors are so slow off creep. The creep spread of SortOf actually is not all that great. It's really taken him a long time to traverse between the 3 bases here, as we see an Ultralisk Cavern going down for SortOf here in the main. Infestors finally coming out for Nerchio in just a matter of moments.
Yeah, the Ultras Cavern. So now as Nerchio's infest... Oh, hold that thought. There are lings on the 3rd base here, and 4th. Is the 3rd going to go down?
And...
No way!
13 supply, he saves it. Those mutas have to know what their mission is right now, but he's got to be careful here, as he needs to spread like he's been doing all game. And it looks like that, wow, he spreads in movement there. Infestors can do their best to try to fungal, but they're just throwing it all along, and here we go. It looks like the 4 mutas are going to be able to slip by, and with that, down goes the hatchery.
Oh, great move. And the 4th base as well. Nerchio all over his opponent. Down goes the 4th dude. Does get cancelled. And now, despite SortOf having clear upgrade advantage, clear tech advantage, he is down so heavily in terms of economy and supply count overall. So even though there's ultras coming, which are very, very good in this matchup, combined with fungal growth, which SortOf still has a lot left, right now Nerchio is building up a roach infestor army. So he will literally have 20 times more units than his opponent, and that doesn't matter. I mean, that matters so much, for Nerchio compared to it doesn't matter about the Ultras doing their big damage. But right now, we see SortOf moving across the map. 2 Ultras will pop in a second to help out, but Nerchio's in great position because of these kills.
Yeah, 183 supply to the 124 of SortOf. This is going to be an interesting fight here in just a matter of seconds. How many infestors? Nerchio already up to a total of 810 for SortOf right now, as he's going to be supply capped here pretty soon. The infestors have joined up in the center of the map. They are only 2-1 upgrade-wise. The Lings, having seen this of Nerchio, they got to think, well, my opponent has infestors. I really don't have to do all that much because I just have such an economic lead right now. I'm just going to sit back, continue my upgrades, continue my kind of macro, and wait for my opponent to make his move.
Yeah, absolutely. He's taken a 5th base too, and we'll just, he probably won't even go Hive for himself actually here. We'll most likely just continue through with 2-2 upgrades for the Roaches. We'll most likely want to add a Hydra Den as well. Hydra's actually very, very good once they get their proper upgrades running with their +2, +3 missile attacks. And the way that Nerchio's throwing Spine Crawlers down here, he may actually decide to throw a Nidus Worm down. That's something we have been seeing a bit recently, because if you think about it, if he's hiding behind Spine Crawlers in an infestation pit, he could easily throw something down like that and then catch his opponent off guard and use mobility. But with the Hive going down, it's most likely now going to be for Greater Spire and for Broodlords, which will completely mess with the Ultras.
We have some mutas flying in over at the 4th base. See a drone trying to take a 5th, take that out, and now we'll continue onward. The drones are having to fall back over here. The infestors are the only anti-air that are out for SortOf. Some infested Terrans will deny those mutas any more of those drone kills. But Apollo, I got to ask you, what does SortOf do right now to get back into this game, as he is struggling economically?
Well, he's actually, he is struggling economically, but he's trying to get back into that with a third and fourth base established, and now he's bringing down these mutas. That will mean he can take in fifth base. The thing that he has an advantage in is upgrades, so if he goes complete max out with upgrades and gets +3 melee attack as well, he doesn't want to go before, because that means, you know, he doesn't have a proper strong advantage here. If he goes when everything is maxed out and fully upgraded, I think that he may still be able to win this game. But Nerchio's moving out now. There's no spine crawlers, there's no nothing. It's just army versus army, which Nerchio is pretty well for.
Yeah, and look how many of these queens at full energy are coming with them. That's going to help so much here. Creep spread being dropped, of course, by those overlords. He does have a fair amount of ultras, already up to, it looks like 7 right now, with 2 more on the way. This is a very interesting fight about to occur. Both players are spreading their units out, getting ready for what may be the game-deciding fight here, as we see SortOf going in.
Oh my god, SortOf goes in really well. That Nerchio probably wasn't even looking at the fight, and SortOf can actually change this around. The ultras are going in. They don't have the best attacking upgrades, but certainly they will survive with +4 armor, and they do. Nerchio is in a world of trouble, caught with his pants down.
Yeah, he's going to lose everything, including these queens here. Getting some transducers off at the last moment, but in the main, we see a huge amount of lings snuck by, taking down the Ultralisk Cavern and possibly the Evolution Chamber. Nothing being upgraded, though. We see another Evolution Chamber started, but now the Ultras are going straight towards the 4th and 5th and being met by a huge amount of roaches as well as spine crawlers.
He cancelled the +3 carapace, which is such a long upgrade to research, and now SortOf doesn't have that upgrade advantage we talked about previously. And he still has a good amount of infestors and ultras, but the roaches will be more than enough here to defend.
Yeah, that is a lot of roaches here, but he's faring pretty well in terms of trading for the sheer number of roaches being taken down. Infested Terrans are going to help out here as some more units are streaming across the map. And it looks like SortOf has chased Nerchio back into his natural, and that might open up some attack paths into this 4th and 5th base.
Yeah, it will, and if he manages to bring down one of these bases, that's of course going to work out heavily in his favor. But Nerchio is bouncing back with units. Only a few, though. He's trying to make more infestors, trying to make more roaches, and the lings are doing so much damage to the drone line. The 5th hatch is now being targeted down by SortOf, and if he is going to bring that down. It's not an if, it is a sure thing. And Nerchio is now down and bleeding. There's lings on the 3rd base. There's lings in the main as well. SortOf is actually turning this game around again. What a crazy game.
This has been an absolutely insane game 6. Remember, guys, if SortOf takes this, he will win the grand finals and get himself the #1 seed from the European region going into the arena. If Nerchio wins, we go to that all-important game 7. Infestors are doing their best here. They can't really do much against those Broodlords, but they will fare very well against the Infestors and those roaches here. Ultralisk finally being taken down there, and SortOf has some really weird placement here for these Infestors over at the 5th that are kind of just stranded.
Yeah, they may actually just wait a little bit and then come down and launch infested Terrans. But now Nerchio's facing the same problem SortOf had earlier, was that he doesn't have a 4th and the 5th. And at this stage of the game, it actually hurts more so than previously for SortOf, because Nerchio's main is mined out, his natural is mined out,
right.
His 3rd is soon to be as well. And we already see Corruptors coming out, because he knows about the Broodlords. He saw them then, he lost an Ultra to them. So right now SortOf is making nothing but Ultra Ling Corruptor. And the Corruptors will want to shred the Broodlords down, and the Ultra Ling will do everything else here. And I think Nerchio is now flip side, turn the table around, flip it upside down. I don't know. But Nerchio now is actually in a world of trouble without his 4th and 5th base.
There are some Corruptors being fungled and slowly being taken down, but they are still just kind of running along. He's really just checking to see what his opponent has economically, because he hasn't been on this side of the map in quite some time. Some Infestors are now going out over near the 4th, already cleaning up the 4th drone line with some infested Terrans, but here come the Infestors of Nerchio, still with 4 up on the top. The Broodlords are currently sitting over still at the 4th, as now he's going to be cleaning up this 4th base of Nerchio. It looks like he wants to try to retake that. Economically, we're looking at 52 drones compared to the 38 of Nerchio.
Yeah, this is really difficult for Nerchio, unfortunately. He's done so well climbing back into this game, taking a lead, but then he dropped the ball again. And not really dropping the ball, it was more like slapped out of his hand dropping the ball. As SortOf has played a great game to come back, considering he was thrown down on 3 bases of his own here. And let's have a look at the Corruptor count. 11 versus 7 here. Surprisingly, they haven't got the best upgrades, but they are at 1-1 compared to the Broodlords, which are just +2 carapace. So that's not too bad actually for Nerchio, but the sheer amount is not that high, unfortunately. Combining that with Infestors and Fungal Growth and Infested Terrans, pretty scary for SortOf. And Nerchio is trying to get this 4th and 5th base back up. But unfortunately, I think that we're just waiting right now for SortOf to complete upgrades to get everything ready in a maxed out army, and then he'll most likely just take the engagement.
Now, SortOf is actually loaded up here, just now finishing Overlord speed. I think he's going to go for a drop in the main as the Greater Spire is still waiting to be complete. And we're actually going to see a double drop both in the north and the south portion of this map, coupled with the Infestors down here, as Nerchio is going to get one fungal down. Infested Terrans are being dropped. The drops are still halfway across the map right now. This game, Apollo, has been so back and forth, and it's about to get flipped once again.
Yeah, now the Lings are about to enter the main. Nerchio has absolutely nothing there. The Greater Spy, Infestation Pit, Spawning Pool, Hide, you name it, is there, and they're about to be brought down.
Yeah, it looks like the Greater Spire is going to be the first unit to fall. He waited just a little bit over here at the 6 o'clock position for that drop. Now he's going to be taking out the Infestation Pit, and with this lost tech, it is very, very hard to combat the higher tech units SortOf is surely going to have here in just a matter of moments.
And actually, look at that. Nerchio grabs the Lings and the Ultras as they pop out on the right-hand side there. And the Corruptors will come to clean that up. So that was a pretty good defense. But like you said, he loses a lot. Even on the 3rd base right now, SortOf has Lings destroying the drones again here. But with losing the Greater Spire, the Infestation Pit, and also the Spawning Pool, that really stings considering his economy is so far behind.
Yep, 144 supply to 142. This game is super, super close in terms of army size and just raw supply. But if you look over here, we have the Greater Spire finished. The Spire having to be rebuilt for Nerchio. And he has a huge amount of Corruptors. It looks to be 18 in all. But he doesn't have the resources, actually, just yet to make Broodlords.
Oh my god, look at that. Actually, looking at the units tab, there's 22 Corruptors out for SortOf compared to 11, unfortunately. And the Infestor count is not in favor, but still he has a lot of energy on all of them, considering that Nerchio's been using his energy to defend. This is getting really rough with +3 melee attack on the way as well now for SortOf. A bunch of Lings with a 5th base established compared to Nerchio's, who is bleeding heavily. Nerchio actually throwing down double Spire here, looking to just go double upgrades and go 2-2, make sure that his Corruptors actually do win the fight here. Maybe he'll go 1 Greater Spire and 1 continuing with upgrades, but either way, that's a decision that he has to make. And with Broodlords of SortOf's own coming out now, this is where things get really, really difficult. Not only does he have the capability to bring down Nerchio's Broodlords, he also has the capability to defend his own.
And we've got an Overlord drop once again about to occur as the Broodlords start their death march here across the map. But will it be enough right now? As we take a look at the units tab, we've got, of course, the 78 Lings, a huge, huge favor right now in favor of SortOf, I should say. We've got 5 to 3 Broodlords, 11 to 20 Corruptors, 8 to 6 Infestors. It's pretty even kind of across the map with no really clear lead right now.
Oh, the Hive of Nerchio.
No.
It's gonna fall, unfortunately, and so is his 5th base if he's not careful. Oh my god, it's down.
And yeah, you are right, as now these Broodlords are slowly coming across the map. Where are the Corruptors? Oh, it looks like they're still over on the other side of the map right now. But like you said, Nerchio is kind of losing his tech. He did have his Greater Spire started before that Hive fell. But his army is really, it's all over the place. It's not in one combined area. And it looks like it SortOf is about to go in right now with his Infestors, his Lings, and his huge amount of Corruptors.
Yeah, the Corruptor battle now will heavily go in favor in SortOf, and Nerchio is not going to have enough. Great Fungals backing the Corruptors up. Not only does he have the Corruptor lead, he has every single one of Nerchio's Corruptors banged down. And look at this absolutely crazy one-sided fight here by SortOf, absolutely dominating this game.
Yep, SortOf is going to most likely be the winner here. Of course, we do have to wait for the GG. And there we go. Looks like Nerchio is going to talk first, which means he will signal the GG. And just there it is, saying he outplayed you all game long, but the Ultras equals good game. And that'll do it, guys. SortOf is your European region winner here for the invite-only online qualifiers. Apollo, your quick thoughts on that insane Game 6.
Metropolis brings the best of games, as you said before, especially within Zerg versus Zerg. It's been a fast, rapid, evolving matchup, which keeps on evolving, even by the words said by Nerchio at the end, guessing that, well, maybe Ultras are pretty good, means that the game is still unexplored, which is fantastic news for a lot of people. It makes games very exciting, and that series overall was pretty damn good, to be honest.
All right, Apollo, I do want to mention, where can people check some of your stuff out?
You can follow me on Twitter, which is simply Diapollo1337, and then my Twitch.tv, my Twitch where I stream my personal games and some tutorials and stuff, is at Dignitas Apollo, which is one word, and likewise for YouTube, where I store a bunch of videos as well.
All right, guys, remember to check out youtube.com/itmejp for all your state of the game and real talk needs. You can also find more matches from the MLG Summer Invite Online Qualifiers over at mlg.tv. So make sure to check them out. For Apollo and MLG, I'm JP McDaniel. See you guys next time.